Hello, beautiful people. I am so happy to bring to you another topic which is of great importance for us in our day-to-day life, I believe. And I feel like a lot of us probably deal with this consciously or subconsciously, and that is seeking validation. Now, I think a lot of you might already be familiar with the term seeking validation. For example, that would mean comparing yourself to people or, constantly wanting to hear from other people whether you're doing good or whether today you're looking good or the new dress you bought, whether it's nice or what's their opinion about it. Or you find yourself sometimes over apologizing to people because you're like, yeah, maybe I said something which was not really okay, so I should apologize for it or over explain myself so that the other person understands that I didn't mean it in that or that way. And yeah, that all forms part of kind of getting validation from people because the end goal to this whole action of yours is to be accepted, to be liked, to not be sidelined from like mainstream groups or communities or whichever environment you are in. So today we are going to uncover some very easy tips for people to try to get out of this validation, like seeking validation mode. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the tips. The first tip that I came up with is to compare your actions with your values rather than other people. This, for example, means let us say you have your core value of not drinking. Let's say you do not drink alcohol or any alcoholic drinks. So let's say you're invited to a party where you know your colleagues from work are going to be there, your boss is going to be there, it's a very international event, and you know people are going to be drinking around you. So you're in that social circle and you probably choose to pick up a champagne glass and hold on to it and maybe take a few sips just to be included in that social setting because you feel if you don't do it, you're going to stand out. And maybe people would not accept you. So you do something which is against your value just to be validated in that moment by your colleagues or whichever environment you are in. So this is the first tip that we need to learn that even if we want to be accepted by other people, I think that desire is in every particular human being that we want to be loved by people, we want to be accepted by people, we want to get attention and compliments from people. However, we need to know that we can still get that without compromising on our value system. So there is a whole list available. You could even search it up on Google or ChatGPT or something to know what are values, like what are the things which come under the category of a person's values. And you could literally look at those and think, okay, how many of those really apply to you? And in reality, how many of those do you actually believe in and stick to in particular situations? Or do you find yourself sometimes going against your own values just to be accepted by other people? And I feel like a lot of us do that. These are the things that I feel make us kind of lose on our value system, and then we seek validation from other people. And when we get it, we're momentarily happy. However, in general, it does not really bring us much satisfaction. So, that being said, we should try to not compromise on our value system. That's the key takeaway from this whole particular point. So my second tip for you is to stop being easygoing. Now, I know that it's something that maybe a lot of you have heard before, and you maybe are also aware of your own traits. However, it's something which is also very difficult to stop doing because it takes a lot of willpower and discipline. And I feel like a lot of us sometimes say yes to people because we feel if we say no, then we are going to lose out on, let's say, a relationship or friendship or acceptance from them or from the group or whichever environment you are in. So we find ourselves saying yes to things which we don't even agree on or believe in or want to say yes, but we just do it to keep the peace, so to say, or to be accepted in a certain situation. However, this is the exact same behavior which kind of still makes you feel upset and not really included, and also never really makes you feel fully validated, because momentarily people might be so happy and they might say something to you to show you that they really appreciate you saying yes or doing something. However, you are yourself internally not happy with the situation, so their validation will just kind of evaporate in a couple minutes or seconds or days or weeks, because you'll just keep feeling miserable for having said yes, or maybe not having said no when you could have, or maybe not having, counter questioned somebody who was being a bit weird or rude with you because you didn't want to come off as confrontational. You know what I mean? So if you identify these things in your personality type, then you need to know that this is something you need to work on if you want to be able to be healthy, but at the same time maintain healthy relations with people by maintaining good value system and boundaries. Because this also forms part of who you are inherently as a person. So for you to be able to be validated by yourself, which means you're able to make yourself feel good by doing or not doing something, and it coming from your own personal choice or decision, is any day more important than you being easygoing and doing everything for other people to accept you and like you, and then still being miserable. And maybe those people will not fully ever really like you or accept you even after doing so much for them. Like, that's the reality of life, honestly. So yeah, pay attention to this part whenever next you're dealing with people around you, or journal about it so you're aware about this particular aspect of yourself, and you can maybe work on it and kind of help yourself not go through this rabbit hole over and over again. So the third tip I have for you is taking feedback from people, but not validating yourself through feedback. That means that it's good to receive feedback. We grow from it. Sometimes we get positive feedback, sometimes negative, and sometimes we know, okay, there are some points we need to be improving on in our life, and it's sometimes very, very helpful, and it helps us progress forward in life. However, it's like a very fine line between using feedback to grow yourself as a person and using feedback to kind of validate yourself in everything that you're doing. So the thing is that if you're taking validation from people about things that you're buying, or a trip you want to take, or what is it that you're doing in life, and if it's positive, you're like, great, I did a great job. And if it's not, then you're like, oh, so next time maybe I need to pay more money, or maybe I should do some more expensive things so that people really see me as someone, or maybe I shouldn't do this at all, or oh, maybe it was not the right decision. But why? You're supposed to be doing you. The feedback of other people is there for a conversation, and you just hear it from them, and that should not change your decisions or your value system. You need to know that feedback is meant for you to sometimes, of course, feel good about yourself, but also to grow from it. It does not matter if somebody does not find something you're doing good, or the way you expected them to react. However, that doesn't mean that now you're going to go out of your way to do stuff or be something that you're not, just to get validation and accepted by that particular person or group, because that's just going to make you more frustrated, and there is no end to it. Like, the cycle keeps going. So this is what I mean by saying that feedback is very important because we grow from it. However, we need to know that feedback is feedback. There is a limit to how much I will accept that feedback in my life and work on myself, but also some feedback I just listen to and don't do anything about it, because every person is entitled to their opinions. That doesn't mean that if today someone says something good about me, that I will be super happy, and tomorrow if somebody said something bad, then I will try my best to do everything in my power to just prove them wrong, or do something and go out of my way to be accepted and do stuff based on what they said to me, because I will lose myself in that situation. You understand? So feedback is sometimes good, but you need to know when to put like the boundary, whether you will accept feedback more than a certain limit or not. So the next tip I have for you has a lot to do with our social media consumption. Now, I know we are all pretty addicted to our phones, and we love checking out what other people are doing, and we love following others on the internet and seeing glimpses of their lives. And so far, so good. It's very nice to be exposed to a very international setting where you can see people from different countries and cultures and backgrounds showing us what they're doing in their life, and that's quite nice. However, I feel like a lot of us sometimes try to copy them, or we want to do stuff similar to them so that we get some sort of validation from our immediate circle. Like, okay, if I post this particular photo, I am going to keep checking every minute how many likes I got, if I got any comments. if new people are following me, if somebody really liked my content, is anybody saying something? I think you can relate to that. A lot of us do that, right? And I can imagine like how easy it is to get into this loop because you sometimes want to do stuff like other people. However, you need to understand that everybody has their own individual journey. So things that are working out for other people does not mean that it's going to work out for you. You have your own journey, you have your own job, you have your own space in the world, and if you want to showcase your authentic self and what is it that you are wanting to do in your personal time and day-to-day life, you want to showcase that on the internet, then that's your choice. But trying to be somebody you're not just to get validation from other people, even though those are pretty much strangers on the internet, is not going to bring you far because you might just end up, overspending and being miserable and doing everything and being fake to your true self. But we can also learn to use social media to be there to healthily express ourselves or show some sort of skill and talent that you have with the world without losing yourself completely and without doing it just to seek validation, but simply doing it for yourself. So the last tip that I have for all of you is to learn to self-validate. Before you go looking for approval from other people, learn to be your own approver, so to say. Learn to regulate your nervous system in a way where you first look for validation from yourself before anyone else. Learn to look at yourself in the mirror or think to yourself that, oh, I have come so far. I'm doing a great job. I'm proud of myself. Or 2 years back or 1 year back, maybe I would never have thought that I would have achieved so much as I've achieved now. So I've made a great progress and I'm really doing a good job. And this is the self-validation which you need first and foremost before you even go thinking of getting validation from other people. Because other people's validation is very subjective. They find something good in you, they will say it. If they don't find something good in you, they would also say it. But you know your journey, you know your struggles, you know how much you've worked hard to reach the current stage that you're in. So somebody else's validation of you does not reflect who you are as a person because you know, okay, even if they're saying something negative about you, you know that that particular thing that they think is negative about you is maybe your most positive trait. So you need to learn to start self-regulating and self-validating first before you get to the point of, trying to prove something to other people. So because other people's opinion changes every day. Some day they can find you good, next day they don't find you good, and it keeps going on and on. So the moment you start validating yourself and loving yourself and accepting yourself for what you are and what you bring to the world, that's the first step for you to start learning your place and being fine with people not like accepting you or validating you, so to say. So I hope that this video helped a lot of you, or the particular points that I mentioned might have resonated with some of you. And if you felt that it made sense, you can let me know in the comment section below, or if there's any experience you want to share, any extra points you want to add with regards to this theme, then please feel free to comment down below. I always love reading comments and getting to know what other people feel is required or important for them. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening or night, wherever it is you're watching from, and that I see you in the next video. Bye!